Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the broadcast. Today, we're starting a week with something a little different, and I'll explain why here in a minute. But first, let me tell you what we're going to be looking at this morning. Hopefully, you enjoyed Friday's Torah portion study about the occult prophet named Balaam or Bilam. Interesting story for sure, and that story continues to get more interesting as you go into this week's portion study. What I wanted to do is I just wanted to take a short look and make a short video at the Haftorah, which is the prophet's portion, which happens to be Micah chapter 5, verses 7 through chapter 6, verse 8. Very short, as you can see. If you're watching the video, and you can see as I'm scrolling through here, it's very, very short. The part we're going to be focusing on is, what does the Lord require? Just something, food for thought, something for us to ponder on and think about as we go into the rest of this week. Now, the reason I'm making this short video is for a couple of reasons. One, to do this short study, but also to let you know that I'm going to be out of town this week. And so there won't be our normal Daniel study. I'll try to get the Torah portion pre-uploaded for Friday, but it'll be a rebroadcast of a previous study, which we've probably done, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. So it's still a relevant study. And so I'll try to have that uploaded for you on Friday. So you'll have today's study, hopefully something on Friday, and that'll be it for this week, simply because I'm going to be out of town. And it's good for my mental health, my spiritual health, and all of these things to take a little bit of time where I'm not stressing about getting the podcast out and all of those things. So that is just a little bit of tidbit of information for you. I want to ask that you would pray for me. Pray that I would have safe travels. Blessed weather would be great. And I want to encourage you to continue to pray and support the podcast. Those of you who support the podcast financially, obviously couldn't do it without you. We don't have any products for sale or anything like that. I have books on Amazon. They don't generate enough income to pay for themselves. So your support is incredibly important, and I'm so grateful. I can't believe we're on 11 years now of doing this podcast. It's incredible, and I'm so grateful and so blessed and so privileged to be able to do this work. So anyway, let's have a look at the prophet Micah here. Chapter 5, verses 7. Starting with verse 7, we go through chapter 6, verse 8, and we're really going to focus on that last part. So I have it pulled up for you here on the screen. If you're watching the video, let's have a look. Here's what it says. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people, as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. Thy hand shall be lifted up upon thy adversaries, and all thy enemies shall be cut off. And it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord, that I will cut off thy horses out of the midst of thee, and I will destroy thy chariots, and I will cut off the cities of thy land, and throw down all thy strongholds, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thy hand, and shall have no more soothsayers. Please note, there's a lot of speculation about the Torah portion. Was it meant to be coinciding with the prophet's portion? Was it meant to coincide with the Torah? There's many debates about that. Some historians say no, completely separate schedule that was set up. I have an article on my website where we talk about the Haftorah and why it exists. Here's the point I want to make, is that our Torah portion was about Bilam, this occult prophet. He was called a diviner or a soothsayer. And here, God is saying, I'm going to cut all this evil out of your land. I'm going to cut off witchcraft behavior. And there's going to be no more soothsayers or diviners. According to the Lord, you come to Him for knowledge. You do not go to a soothsayer or a seer or some occult for this information, but humanity throughout history has really struggled to resist this temptation. Let me give you an example here from Deuteronomy. So spiritualism forbidden is the headline here. It says, when you enter the land which the Lord your God is giving you, you shall not learn to imitate the detestable things of those nations. I tell you, Christians today could benefit from reading Deuteronomy. There shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire, one who uses divination, a soothsayer, one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who casts spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who consults the dead. For whosoever does these things is detestable to the Lord. And because of these detestable things, the Lord your God is going to drive them out before you. You are to be blameless before the Lord your God. For these nations which you are going to dispose, listen to soothsayers and diviners. But as for you, the Lord your God has not allowed you to do so. Here's what God promised to do instead. The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from among you, from your countrymen. To him you shall listen. So what's being communicated here is when you go into these lands, don't do what they do, going to sorcerers, diviners, trying to get information and interpretations from them. Instead, God has men in place. Come to them. Come to the Lord for this information, right? All right, let's get back to our study here in Micah. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thy hands. And I will pluck up thy groves out of the midst of thee, so I will destroy thy cities. And I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard. Hear ye now what the Lord saith. Arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear my voice. Hear ye, O mountains, the Lord's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel. O my people, what have I done unto thee? And wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. For I brought thee out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed thee out of the house of servants, and I sent before thee Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him? For Shittim unto Gilgal, that you may know the righteousness of the Lord. So, again, he's saying, hey, remember back what happened with this occult prophet Balaam? Will the Lord be pleased with thousands of rams? If you remember, in the story, what does Balaam do? He keeps going to these different mountain locations that Balak's taken him to, and he creates 7 altars and sacrifices a bunch of animals. Will the Lord be pleased with 1,000 rams or 10,000 rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? He that showed thee, O man, what is good, and doth the Lord require of thee? So God's like, here's what the Lord requires. But to do justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with thy God. Listen, I'm a religious person, and I completely reject this not religion attitude. I'm not religious, I just have a relationship with God. I think that's absolutely absurd. And unbiblical and unhistorical for God's people. We are religious, and we do sacraments, and we have a religion. So that idea is absurd. What I hear when people say that is, I don't do any of the things God has commanded me to do. I just have a relationship with him. To me, nonsense. But anyway, that's a whole side thing. But religion, doing these acts, doing sacraments, being religious, all of these things, using our spiritual gifts, these are all good but completely useless in the eyes of God if we're not doing these most important things. Justice, to do what's right, to love mercy, to be kind and merciful to people, loving, and to walk humbly with God. I'm reminded of what Paul says, though I speak with the tongues of men and angels. He's like, even though I'm using spiritual gifts from on high, if I have not love, I've become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And so that's really the part I want us to think about this week. Am I not just checking the box on all the things that are good and that God has asked me to do as far as my behavior is concerned, but am I doing the most important thing, which is to love thy neighbor as thyself, to love God above all things? Am I doing that? Because Jesus says these two commandments, the whole law of Moses is hinged upon. I pray you've been blessed this morning. Thank you for listening. Pray for me as I'm traveling this week, and please consider supporting the mission of truth. Peace and grace be with all of you. And until next time, God bless.